if you're trying to come off of kratom or anything else, one of the number one things that I recommend is what I'm doing right now. Don't forget that. You have to replace areas of weakness in your life with things that make you stronger. That's the way this works. It's a give and take. Got it.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to That's Right, I Said It, where I talk about things that a lot of people wouldn't talk about online. I'm hoping to keep this shorter. I actually do all my editing on my phone, and I only have so much room on my phone. So one of the reasons I don't do any edits, I actually have pretty good video editing ability and skills, believe it or not. Even though I'm not showing that on this channel, my issue at the moment is I do all my editing, recording, editing, everything on my phone. And I don't have but so much room on my phone. So when I start making these 25, 26, 27 minute videos, I can't go in and edit those videos and then render them as a save file to then upload to my YouTube channel. If I'm going to do any editing on my videos whatsoever, I'm going to have to start keeping them a little shorter. So I'm going to try to do that today. And so you may see a little clip at the beginning of me jogging. I put that in there for a reason. That is setting up kind of what I'm wanting to talk about today a little bit. And, you know, one of those things is, you know, we live in a culture where, well, sorry, I'm already digressing. Let me back up. So I took the kava again last night. I only took right under 7.5 grams of kratom powder yesterday. That's all the kratom I had. So that is still moving in the right direction for me. Not going to the kratom bar this weekend. That I've already told my wife and everything. We're not going to go. I need to stick to, you know, a certain amount of just the capsules so that I can continue this taper to the point where I'm completely off of it. So I only took about 7.5 grams of kratom powder yesterday. In spite of having the kava drink right before I went to bed, I did struggle a little bit sleeping. But I want to remind you that the night before last, I took about 9.5 grams. So again, you know, I tend to be a little more aggressive. I guess for me, I'm trying to make up for lost time because I kind of, I've been doing this thing recently where I'm taking, you know, 4 or 5 steps forward during the week. And then I'm taking, you know, 6, 7 steps back on the weekend. And I got to stop doing that. And that's one of the reasons I'm not going to the kratom bar this weekend, because not going to take any steps backward this weekend. But that's just something, you know, that I have to deal with myself. And I'll let you guys know how it goes on Monday. But I'm not going to the kratom bar this weekend. I've already decided. So anyway, I'm down to about 7.5 grams, which is still, you know, that's low for most people. For people who take kratom on a regular basis, you know, most people are way up above that. So I'm proud of that progress, 7.5 grams. And I did have a little trouble sleeping, but again, I cut my dosage down by over 2 grams just in one day. So I talked about how the night before last, I slept really, really soundly on 9.5 grams of kratom that day. And I drank the kava drink and stuff to help with my sleep. And that was great. The very next night, I cut my kratom dosage down to 7.5 grams already. So that's over 2 grams decrease all in one day. So in spite of having the kava, I was thinking the day before that the kava was just the end-all be-all answer. Like, you know, you can just beat any withdrawal if you take that kava drink at night. So sad to report that I've not found you know, magic pill, for lack of a better word, actually magic drink or tea. I've not found the golden goose with the kava. I did actually still experience some withdrawals, although not bad. I just found myself waking up more often. I probably woke up 4 or 5 times throughout the night. The kava, however, does keep you sleepy enough and in enough of a stupor to where I was able to kind of doze back off each time. So I wasn't in like full on withdrawals with it. But I think because I cut down from the almost 10 grams, 9.5 grams, to below 7.5 grams in one day, that definitely affected me a little bit. But the reason I put that video at the beginning of me running is because I talk a lot on here about how tough it is, you know, to come off of kratom, and oh, it's starting to rain here. How tough it is to come off of kratom, how tough it is to really deal with the uncomfortable nature of coming off of the kratom. Your body just feels, you don't feel like yourself, man. You feel down, you have low energy, you know, you have trouble regulating your body temperature. You're like kind of cold 1 minute, hot 1 minute, and stuff like that. And one of the things I found that really helps with this is embracing the suck. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Sometimes you just have to build a resistance to the suck, to the struggle. And, you know, that's why I posted that video at the beginning, because at least several days a week I go out and I jog like a good 4 or 5 miles. And I understand I've been doing that for a while. I've been doing cardio for, you know, a good 5 or 6 years now. Not everyone's going to be at that place where they're in the type of shape where they can go out and jog, you know, 4, 5, 6 miles. I get that. And that's not what I'm saying, but it pushes you and it challenges you. And in a lot of ways, and you hear my boy David Goggins talking about this a lot, he talks about how you kind of callous your mind. You can actually harden your mind and callous your mind. And believe it or not, putting yourself through things like that, you know, feats that are difficult and challenging for you, and stepping out of that comfort zone and being comfortable with being uncomfortable, because we live in a society where we tend to repel that. Anything that makes you feel comfortable, or I'm sorry, anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, or anything that may be a put off to you or that offends you. You know, we live in this cancel culture where everybody just wants to be in their little safe bubble, and, you know, nobody prod me or poke me or try to get me out of my comfort zone at all, or I'm going to freak out on you. You know, we live in that sort of society. And I'm not much different. I mean, one of the reasons that I've developed a drug addiction, especially because when I was younger, I struggled with that. You know, and I kind of got accustomed to just using drugs and substances and medications to, you know, to not have to deal with the emotional stress that I was being put up under, you know, in terms of school, whether it was a job, trying to be a family member, a father, you know, a career, all these things. And I would kind of use that as a way to numb myself and hide from the responsibilities that I might have had as an adult that I just didn't feel like I was ready for. And it took me, you know, up into my 30s or so, where I kind of started to switch that. And I kind of, in a lot of ways, have started to become the opposite of what I was when I was young. I was always really sensitive. I was always kind of scared to, you know, to be aggressive and to go after things and to really buckle down on myself and hold myself accountable when it come to achieving certain tasks or pushing myself through certain tasks, and how good it feels to have a challenge presented in front of you, and for that challenge to be hard and difficult and to challenge your mind and your physical body, but then you achieve it in spite of that, how good that feels afterwards. And you know, I think having gone through you know, withdrawals from drugs and things like that in my life has been one of the things that has really helped me to kind of embrace the suck a little bit and build some resilience in regards to, you know, you already know when you're coming off of kratom, whether you do cold turkey, if you can do cold turkey, cool, that's great. If you can't do cold turkey and you need to make it a little bit easier on yourself, that's fine too. And that's kind of what I'm preaching on here. The reason I preach that is because I don't want anybody going through 2-3 days of horrible withdrawals just to turn around and start using again because you can't stand how bad it makes you feel. And I don't want anyone to do that. I would rather see someone taper off of it, to where you're not just in complete miserable mode, and then be able to eventually come off of it and stay off of it if they so choose. So that's kind of what I'm preaching to people. But there are times in life, and depending on what your background is, you may have some experience in this, you may not. For me, I've had to develop it as an adult. A lot of it has been getting through drug addiction. I've been through at least 2 major opiate withdrawals through with pain pills back in my 20s and 30s. Man, I'm talking about something that'll tough you up, and I'm talking about cold turkey withdrawals from strong Percocets that I had been taking for years. So you want to find something that'll toughen you up. If you go through something like that, that is one of the hardest things you will ever experience in your life. And I have no doubt in my mind that strengthened me in my life, and I am much stronger, and I'm in better shape than most people, because I know how to push myself now. Because if I could go through that shit and come out on the other side and still be here talking to you, then I know for a fact that I can run 5 miles, or that I can run 10 miles, or that I can go to the kickboxing gym on the weekend and spar with people. And spar when you're going to get kicked, and you're going to get hit and punched in the face, and your your heart's going to be beating out of your chest, but you still have to make it until the end of the round. I do that stuff now. And one of the reasons that I do that stuff is because I'm keeping my mind hardened, and I'm keeping my, keeping my mind calloused. And I think that's really important. That's something I haven't really talked enough about on this channel, and I've kind of gone through the specifics and the ins and outs of what to take when you're going through withdrawals, things that can help to kind of alleviate the discomfort and things like that, so you can continue to live and take care of your everyday responsibilities, things like that. And those are all valid points. But one of the things that I really want to say to you, and I'm going to go after this: exercise. Do something in your life that pushes you and challenges you. When you quit something like an addiction, one of the most important things that can happen to you is that you need to replace that addiction with something else. And obviously, it needs to be something positive. You don't replace, a kratom addiction with an alcohol addiction. You don't say, well, since I'm not taking kratom anymore, I'm just going to start smoking weed all the time. Or I'm going to start drinking all the time. Or I'm going to go start taking this or start taking that. And, we already know that all of those are a dead-end road. Because if you're not a person that can moderate yourself, and it can be moderate when you take a drug or a medication, at some point, you have to accept that about yourself and learn that about yourself. And then you have to move on and just leave it all behind, and so that's one of the things I don't talk about enough is, look, you got to embrace the suck. And the more you exercise, drink a lot of water, take vitamins, eat well, start working on hobbies and creating things, whatever it is that you like to do and that you enjoy doing, do that. Find those things to fill the time that you would have been taking just getting high. And that's very important. And you have to learn that, the suck that you feel coming off of kratom, whether it be cold turkey or taper, is temporary. And it's going to go away, and it's going to get better. And in the meantime, you need to callous your mind and callous your body and harden yourself up a little bit. Toughen yourself up. You live in a first world country where we sit on our phones and sit and whine and complain about how bad we feel. And this, I'm not trying to demean anyone's, negative feelings associated with, quitting something like kratom or some other sort of opiate. And I know it's tough. I get it. It is absolutely tough. But if you can flip your mindset and switch your mindset into, this is strengthening me. I can embrace this suck. And you know what? I can prepare myself for the suck better. That sounds bad. Okay, you can prepare yourself for the hard times better by challenging yourself, pushing your body physically, pushing your mind mentally, you know, push yourself to do things that are uncomfortable for you. And it actually makes withdrawals easier, I swear. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this. Hopefully it gives you some motivation, you know, as you're making whatever change you're making, you know, to get out there, put pavement to the road, man. Put, you know, or for lack of a better term, put your heels on the road. Get out there and you know, push through it, man. Push through it. Be tough. Be tough. You can survive it. You will survive it. And challenging yourself is a good way to kind of armor your body and armor your mind to where nothing can hurt you. And you know that you can make it through it. And it takes practice to do that. It's not something people just flip it on and off, and oh, I go to bed on Monday, I wake up on Tuesday, and all of a sudden I'm this tough motherfucker. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to challenge yourself, you have to practice, and you have to build those calluses on your mind, because it is all mental. Even physical challenges, it's mental. It's not your body that makes you quit when you're doing cardio. It's your mind that forces your body to quit. You tell your mind to shut up, you switch your mind off, and you keep pushing. You figure out really quickly that your body can actually do more than you thought you could do. But you have to get your mind there. You have to get your mind there. And that's what this video is all about. So anyway, appreciate you guys listening. Please like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment as well. I love to interact with my listeners. All right, guys. See you next time. Peace.